Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fan Experience TV, episode 103. We took a nice couple of weeks off, reset, recharge. Had a lot going on, including getting out there with some of the fans. We'll fill
Oh
you in on
yeah.
that. But for those of you joining us for the first time, my name is Mike Katos. I'm your host. Alongside me is my co-host Rick Molina. Rick, nice couple of weeks off, and very eventful happenings around the world of sports.
Yeah, man. It was nice to recharge for a couple weeks. A lot going on, but yeah, it's a lot going on in the world of sports. We crowned the new World Series champion in the Braves. Aaron Rodgers has lost his damn mind. The NBA season is underway, but the NFL is where it's at, man. It is heating up. We're at the halfway point. As far as the New York locals go, look, Zach is in his first year. Everybody who's saying it's the Mike White show, let's relax. We'll get into that a little later. The Giants, they should be 5-4. It looks like they're starting to come into their zone, but we got to begin with these taunting penalties. And last night, Chicago Bears and the Pittsburgh Steelers, what an embarrassment. The ref pulls his ass out, and the guy bumps into him, and he throws him a 15-yard penalty. I mean, the referees are just nitpicking over it. They're becoming part of the game when they shouldn't. And enough's enough. Look, if it's a real taunting penalty, then throw it. If it's not, then let them play and let them enjoy themselves. And it's just becoming, it's becoming the headline in the season midway point in the NFL. Apart from all the disaster that's gone on with Henry Ruggs, and that whole fiasco, and also the Aaron Rodgers stuff. But a lot to talk about as we head into Week 9 in the National Football League.
Oh, we're heading into Week 10.
Heading into Week 10, excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this elongated season is flying by.
It's already November.
I mean, the good news is we have one extra game.
Yes.
At this point in time. In a couple of years, we'll have 2 extra games.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that we're 9 weeks through this NFL season. It's just flying by.
It is.
But there's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Like you mentioned, the Henry Ruggs story last week.
Horrific.
Thoughts and prayers to the family of the victim in that crash.
I mean, this is horrific. He's gonna do 50 years. That guy. I mean, the guy ruined his life. He's gonna do 50 years.
And it's just. There's no words, as far as what you can say, but let's see what the justice system decides on that. But this is exactly why they have rules in place, and they have these things in place in these teams where they'll give you a designated driver, will call any time of the day, any time of the night, but he just didn't want it. He wanted to go out and do his thing.
He wanted to drive 150 miles an hour, and that's what happens. But
yeah, and there's no excuses there.
No.
And the Raiders just constantly having controversy circling them. You had Gruden a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now you got Ruggs. They just signed Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens with Odell Beckham too, because he was just released by the Browns.
There.
But I don't think that the Raiders are going to go after Odell Beckham. But Odell Beckham right now said today that his priority as far as where he wants to sign is the Green Bay Packers, and he wants to play with Aaron Rodgers. And the Packers had said earlier in the season that they're going to go all in for Rodgers, being it's his last year, and show him that they're serious about wanting to win a title with him.
Right.
And let's see. Let's see if it's lip service or whatnot. But he did clear waivers earlier today, and the Seahawks were one of the teams that could have grabbed him and did not. So we'll see. I think that the Packers and the Chiefs would be very interesting landing spots if I don't know if the Chiefs can afford it with the money that they're paying.
Yeah,
paying
I don't think
Mahomes.
so. If the Chiefs are going to pick somebody up, it's on the defensive side of the ball. They need help on the defense.
They scored 13 points this past week.
Yeah.
All right. They beat the Aaron Rodgers-less Packers by 6 points in their home stadium. There is there's trouble in Kansas City.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's just I don't know. I mean, they can't hit the deep ball with Tyreek Hill at will like they have been in previous seasons. I mean, Kelsey still gets open, but there was a lot of drop passes. There's a lot of just inconsistencies and these little rinky-dink throws by Mahomes. People aren't teams aren't letting them get away with it as much anymore. I mean, this is 3-4 years in the league now. Like they're catching on to what he's trying to do. They have no running game, which gives them pretty much no play action, which hurts them. I mean, McKinnon's coming into his own a little bit, but they're just constantly injured, and Mahomes just does not look like he's having fun out there.
No, he's under duress all the time. He's running for his life. And
he's got his brother doing TikTok.
Yeah,
I mean, his brother is this year's Juju.
Yeah.
Juju dancing on the logos and making an ass out of himself, and not focusing on football. And you have, Mahomes' brother, trying to just be all cocky and I'm Mahomes' brother and blah blah blah, and he's just, he's just making a fool of himself, and it's just, I don't think Patrick is very happy about it. He, every time you see him on social media, it looks like he's miserable.
No, it is, and I just think that what's going on right now with the Chiefs is you're right. The league's caught up to Mahomes, and they're playing him. Their defenses are playing him differently. They've adjusted to him. They don't let him get those crazy bombs off anymore. He's not throwing those 30-yard outs anymore. And Kelsey's not the same that he was a couple of years ago. He's always banged up now. And you're right. They don't have a running game, and they need in the draft when they go draft this year, they better look for a running back who can run the ball. And then shore up that offensive line to protect him. But their defense is just awful. I mean, yes, they only, they won 13-7, but if it's Aaron Rodgers back there, that game is 40-13. I mean, that game is just, it's not even close.
If they even get to 13.
Right. So, listen, the Chiefs got a lot of problems. Who knows if they're going to get into the playoffs? I have no idea. Time will tell. But right now, it's a mess. And right now, the AFC West is interesting because you got the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Chargers.
Start with the Chargers are at the top, so you start with the Chargers first.
What can you say, man? Justin Herbert out there, they're playing well. They're a tough team. They're tough defensively. They're 5-3. They're tied with the Raiders. They got a couple of losses on the road. I mean, New England got them for one.
Mm-hmm. So, and the Ravens were as a bad one.
And the Ravens, yeah. So look, yes, the Chargers are the top team out there. But that's anybody's division. I mean, it could be anybody's. The Raiders with their problems. I mean, who knows who's going to come out? The Broncos are 5-4. So that is an interesting division to see what's all played out there with Mahomes' problems and the Broncos and their quarterback and the Raiders and their issues and the Chargers. The Chargers should be better, man. I think they should be 6-2 at least. But it's going to be fun to watch. The other division that is going to be interesting to watch is the AFC North, where Cleveland just destroyed the Bengals. And I think it's safe to say that the Bengals might be a little bit pretenders. I mean, that loss to the Jets, nobody saw it coming, but that's 2 in a row now. They're 5-4. You got to start wondering if the Bengals are for real or if, second half people are making adjustments and the Bengals are our paper tigers here. But Cleveland right now is 5-4. The Steelers with Roethlisberger, and obviously the Ravens, they have the MVP. I mean, Lamar Jackson's just incredible, and I think he's going to win the MVP. But it's going to be fun down the stretch in the next 9 games.
Yeah, I think with Kyler Murray being injured and not playing this week, hurt his chances in being the MVP, because I think it was between Kyler and Lamar.
Yeah.
Also, at the same time, Kyler not playing this week, and the Cardinals running all over San Francisco with Colt McCoy leading the charge and all these running backs. You can't be the MVP if your team could still play lights out football when you're not even there.
Right.
Not to mention they didn't have DeAndre Hopkins or AJ Green, and they still put up 31 points and 200 something yards in rushing. So that definitely hurts your chances of being the MVP. But the Cardinals are for real, and Cliff Kingsbury is doing a phenomenal job this year.
It took him 3 years. So for all those fans out there who want to dump a coach after 6 games, 7 games, take it easy.
No, I mean you saw the glimpses. You saw what was on the horizon, and they definitely have a lot of nice pieces in place. Obviously bringing in J.J. Watt over the off season, helped have that veteran presence in the locker room
that
as far
helped,
as defense goes, and a lot of nice defensive pieces, a lot of nice offensive pieces, and Chase Edmonds banged up now, and James Conner is just running amok over there too.
Yeah,
quality backup over there, and I think they're for real. I think we're going to see them in the NFC Championship game. To be completely honest, I've been saying it since week 2, week 3. I really do, and because you got the Rams this past week that looked like the hands down favorite. The Cardinals made a mockery of them when they played. Yeah. And now the Rams in SoFi lost to the Tennessee Titans, a team that the Jets beat, mind you.
And they beat him with Adrian Peterson. It's not like they beat him with
it was Derrick Henry is out for the next 6 to 8 weeks, and first game without Derrick Henry, and they beat him 28-16. And 16 is even an inflating score because that was late in the game there, just playing catch up. But yeah, I mean the Titans. I mean the Titans have improved significantly. Mm-hmm. There's no denying that. But it's the Rams aren't just this powerhouse team that we all thought that they were earlier in the season.
No,
they obviously have some holes. I think obviously Darrell Henderson got banged up a little bit, but they did just pick up Von Miller from the Broncos. He did not play in this game, but he will be playing next week, I think, presumably. So that should bolster their defense a little bit and give them a little edge, no pun intended.
Yeah. How about the shocker of the week? The Jacksonville Jaguars beat Buffalo 9-6. I mean, Josh Allen sacking Josh Allen. I mean, that defense.
Yeah, that was poetic justice.
That defense is all over that kid. Listen, Buffalo's 5-3. Not sure what's going on over there. I don't know if it's if it's on the road. The Bills have issues. I mean, that game they lost in Jacksonville. What was the other 3 games they lost? They lose in. Did they lose in?
Well, they got that. They lost to Tennessee on the bonehead, going for it on 4th instead of taking the
right. They lost to Steelers opening day.
But that was their last game, was it not? The Bills had their bye last week, and the Tennessee was 2 weeks ago.
No, the Bills lost to Tennessee 2 weeks ago. Then they played the Dolphins. The Bills, I don't know when their bye. I think their bye was last week. So it's just. I mean, that game. I was watching that. It was 9-6.
Oh no, they did beat the Dolphins last week after the bye. Yeah,
but I mean that game. They looked like they didn't even show up. But Josh Allen was under duress the whole game. They were just beating the crap out of him. And listen, they're 5-3. They're first in the East, man. But Miami's right behind them. Not Miami. The
Patriots.
The Patriots are right behind them, and Mac Jones is just getting better. I mean, the way he's playing, dinking and dunking, not doing anything crazy. New England's 5-4. I think they're going into their bye week this week. But what's funny? New England is 1-4 at home. They're 4-0 on the road, but they're 1-4 at home, which is an interesting little stat there. But
one of them was Brady. That one you can give them. But
one of them was Brady. Yeah, but I still think that Buffalo's got to get their act together. Not sure what's going on over there. Not sure if it's just the fact that people are.
They have no running game.
Yeah, so and it's all Josh Allen. But
there's going to be Stephon Diggs is going to start complaining that he's not getting the ball.
Yeah,
and we all know how that went with the Vikings.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, that when I was watching that, and I was going between that and the Cowboy game, and somehow the Cowboys lost the Broncos. But
the Cowboys were embarrassed by the Broncos. I mean,
yeah,
they were being shut out for what, 3.5 quarters?
Yeah.
Or did they just start in the fourth quarter? They were scoring, right?
Yes.
I think. Yeah. So
Yes.
and it was just garbage time touchdowns, and Bridgewater just driving them down the field. Obviously, they got the great receivers there, and Judy. Tim Patrick was on fire. Then they obviously they're the great talented running backs, but the Cowboys could not get out of their own way.
No, I mean, for a team that's loaded.
Zeke was a little banged up. Granted that doesn't help matters, but they do have Pollard. Yeah. And CeeDee Lamb and Cooper couldn't do anything. I mean, it was all the secondary receivers that were doing all the damage at the end there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what's going on over there in Dallas, because they looked like a strong team, and they couldn't get out of their own way this past week. And I know for sure I did not see that coming, especially after the Broncos just lost Von Miller. You would think that they're not going to put up like this monster defensive performance. They lost a cornerback and they lost Von Miller, and yet they shut down the Cowboys like they were a JV team.
Yeah, and look, Zeke's always hurt, man. I mean,
no, of course. I mean, he's getting up
but
there.
That's a game. I'm wondering if that's just a game where they didn't show up, but that's a game they should win. They shouldn't lose a game like that. That's a game that the Cowboys should win. It's a 1:00 game. Everybody's watching.
It was at home, was it not?
Yeah, it was at home too, man. I'm sure Jerry Jones was not happy about that.
No.
Yeah, but that's a game that they should have won. But I'm looking at these standings over here. I mean, the Ravens are 6-2, and the Steelers are right there. As bad as Ben has been this year, they're right there, a game behind. The Titans are 7-2, so the Cowboys are 6-2. The Packers are 7-2. Obviously, I guess we'll get into that a little bit. And then the Cardinals are the best team right now at 8-1. So it's just it's an interesting year, man. It doesn't feel like there's like maybe other than Baltimore or even Arizona, it doesn't feel like there's a powerhouse team out there. It's like there's not that dominant team out there.
Completely agree. Yeah, I mean, Baltimore, you have to put in that conversation for sure. But the Bills look like they may have been for a minute there. I mean, that loss to the Steelers in Week 1 definitely didn't look good on them. But then they turned it around, and then all of a sudden, you got that Titans one. The Titans debacle there, and then now you got this one with the Jaguars. I mean, you just put up 6 points. Granted, I know that the Jaguars have a competent defense, but they haven't been like a just a lockdown defense by any stretch of the imagination.
No, not at all.
So to only come out with 6 points. It's embarrassing. And now we have to go and we have to play. The Jets have to play the Bills, and they're coming into. It's at MetLife, right? Yeah, it's at MetLife. January.
We might still see Zach against. And
I know we're going to go into. The lines later, but the Bills are favored by 13.5 right now in the early lines. They just put up 6 points. And they're favored by 7.5.
I'll tell you, is that game in Buffalo?
No, it's in New York.
Okay,
in MetLife.
So that should tell Jet fans something, because Mike White's going to start that game, and Vegas doesn't believe Mike White. I don't care what they say. I'm telling you, and I don't believe in Mike White. Look, Mike White. I think Mike White is our version of Nick Foles. I just don't see it. I mean, yeah, he had a big game against Cincinnati, but Cincinnati almost blew that game open. They should have had 3 interceptions. He threw 2. They should have had a third one. I mean, they should have blown that game open. They didn't. And it was just, and then against the Colts, yeah, they were moving the ball. But that
was mostly Josh Johnson.
Right. And White was having some success, but it wasn't like he was lighting it up or anything like that. I mean, yeah, he had the touchdown.
Well, but it was actually Josh Johnson that was putting up the points.
Yeah. So I just think that, look, Zach's a kid.
Elijah Moore, too.
Yeah, I just think Zach's a kid who's played 6 games. He doesn't know the NFL game. He doesn't have experience. I just think he wasn't ready. And I think Michael LaFleur's been calling a different offense for him than he has been for for Mike White and Josh Johnson. And I just think that they need to keep that offense once they bring Zach back. And just let him play, man. If he has to throw 30 interceptions, let him do it, but let him get all the mistakes out and then move forward. You know, the thing about Josh Johnson and Mike White, they're experienced. They've been in the league a few years. They've seen a few defenses. They played, so they know.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's talk about interceptions for a while. Let's talk about Jets quarterbacks or former Jets quarterbacks.
Oh, man.
Because, I mean, the old Jets quarterback, Mr. Sam Darnold, he would lighten it up in the beginning of this season. Everyone's like, oh, man, he found his stride. No, He's Sam Darnold, and he's always going to be Sam Darnold. And he, right now, looks atrocious there in Carolina. He can't get out of his own way. The Patriots, granted, have his number. I mean, he was throwing ghosts to them a couple of years ago. He was seeing ghosts in the field a couple of years ago, and it looks like the ghosts haven't left when it comes to playing against the Patriots. And he had McCaffrey back, and they couldn't do anything. What, they scored 6 points?
Yeah,
6 points in his last game. The Patriots just ran all over the Carolina Panthers. It looks as if P.J. Walker's going to be starting for them in the not too distant future, and it begs the question. The trade deadline for the NFL did come and go. Deshaun Watson did not move anywhere. Yeah. But in the off season, after maybe some clarity out of these legal battles, the legal ramifications behind the Watson situation get cleared up just a little bit. But the Carolina Panthers are going to have to be at play, in play for wanting to scoop up Deshaun Watson.
Well, the question is, does he want to go there, right? I mean, look,
of course, but at the same time, like, if nobody's calling, like,
yeah. And here's the other. I mean, and not for nothing, you got to give credit to Joe Douglas. Say what you want about what's going on in the field. As a GM, the guy is shrewd as you can be. He gave up Sam Darnold for a 6. I think a 2 and a 4 for next year's draft.
Yep.
I mean, Jamal Adams for 2 firsts and a 3rd. Chris Herndon for a 4th. I mean, the guy just knows. They missed out on Marcus May. I think if they would have found the trade too, they would have traded him. And unfortunately, tears his Achilles.
Yep.
But give credit to Joe Douglas. I mean, he sees. He's like, look, he knew. I think they realized Sam Darnold wasn't the answer, and you see it out there now. Sam Darnold, he's terrible. I mean, as a Jet fan, we were kind of blinded, but he's awful, man. He's just awful. And then Robbie Anderson getting pissed off at him and telling him, yelling at him on the sidelines, and I can't blame him. But Robbie Anderson isn't that great.
Robbie Anderson's like, I left the Jets because I wanted to get away from you when you come back.
That's what he was really saying. Look, and Robbie Anderson isn't that great. He down the field, but he can't get open. But it's amazing how awful he's become. It's just brutal. It's hard to watch. It is really tough to watch that. And I think Darnold is either a backup in the league moving forward or he's out of the league because I don't know how he survives after this. I mean, I don't know who would want him.
Yeah. Hey, man, what is it with the USC quarterbacks? I mean,
I don't know. Sanchez, Darnold. I mean, look, I think Darnold will be serviceable as a backup. I think that's what he'll be. But think about that draft. Baker Mayfield's coming up on his 5th year. Who knows if the Browns will re-sign him. Darnold went 3rd in that draft. He's the biggest bust. Then Rosen, I think Josh Allen went 7th. Rosen went 10th. And Lamar Jackson's going to be a 2-time MVP, went 31st, man. Just incredible.
I know. It really is when you – I mean, granted, like, you got to remember, where Tom Brady was drafted.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously anything can happen.
No, I know.
But a lot of good things to look forward to as far as the Jets go. Zach Wilson just starting off. Elijah Moore had his breakout game.
Yeah, so he did.
Hopefully that can continue. Hopefully Mims can stay on the field. Hopefully our young receivers. We need to get a tight end. But Michael Carter is shining. He's doing it on the ground. He's doing it in the air. The defense is keeping them in games. I mean, obviously they got
torched. Not last week. I mean,
they got torched last week because Jonathan Taylor is just a beast right now.
Well, what they need is linebackers. If they're gonna draft defense on this team, they need to draft some big time linebackers.
Yeah. No, obviously they're not all the way there. I mean, nobody thought that they were going to be all the way there. And you mentioned with the Bengals earlier, nobody thought that the Bengals were a playoff team this year, but they did surprise.
Yeah.
So, pretender, contender, like nobody thought that they were going to be a contender. I think they just, pleasantly surprising us just a tad bit, with a couple of the games that they've had this season. But I don't think by any stretch that we think they were going to go into the playoffs in the preseason. So I mean,
listen,
hey, you know what? Like we mentioned at the top of the show, the Atlanta Braves won the World Series.
Yeah.
A team that lost starting pitching, a team that lost Ronald Acuna early in the season.
Yeah.
A team that had a 0.2% chance in winning the World Series come like June. I think they had them at. It was like unbelievably ridiculous. I mean, they got a little help from the Mets.
The Mets can't find a GM.
Just a tad bit, but there's no denying that the Braves, they conquered, and they went out there and they played some great baseball, and picking up Jock Peterson, making a couple of key pickups to the trade deadline, and Jorge Soler hitting bombs like 700 feet. kind of helps.
That helps a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, somebody from across the street of the Astros ballpark, Minute Maid Park. They were having like a party in like the in their apartment. Yeah, and it was just like laying there on the street, and he just goes and grabs it, and he said he's going to give it back to the Braves if they want it. But yeah, I mean they just they took down the David versus Goliath, and that's the best thing about like baseball though, especially when it's like 7-game series, longer series. I know you can't do it in football, but I just like how those longer series definitely could play a factor. But obviously you can't play seven Super Bowls, games, seven games long for the Super Bowl.
No.
That's what makes football different, but also fun. But obviously congratulations to the Braves on that one. But it goes to show you, like, you could be this, this team that nobody sees coming, and all of a sudden you're right there in the thick of it all. And I mean, who thought that the Chiefs were going to be, what are they, 4-4 now, 3-5?
Yeah.
What are they?
The Chiefs right now are 5-4.
Oh, they're 5-4. All right, they're over 500 now.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're right there. All right, they're right there. They'll probably end up winning the division when it's all said and done.
Well, depending on who knows, man.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, the Chargers, as much as I like to preach on the Chargers. I think they're still a little bit ways away, but they are going to have a nicer second half of the year. I think that their schedule clears up a little bit, and will afford them that ability. But the head coach, he's got to stop going for like the weird.
Yeah, man, you can't go for fourth and one on your 19.
Going for it on the 25-yard line.
Yeah, what's up with that,
on the other
man?
side. So you still got to be a little careful with what you're doing over there. But yeah, I mean the Bengals I didn't think was going to be any contender. But let's what was the other big game? We talked about the Bears game, right?
A little bit of it on that Bears, bullshit penalty.
Goal,
yeah. I mean, look, the officials are way too much in these games, man. The league's got to, the league is gonna always back the officials, but it's getting worse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Giants keep eking out wins too. Over here.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're 3-3 since starting 0-3, so they should. And
they should have had 2 wins then.
Yeah, they should be 5-4. They should be 5-4. Giants should be 5-4.
Yeah.
So they're turning things around. And then they're supposed to get Barkley back. They're supposed to get Shepard back. But listen, they're 3-6 in the division where the Cowboys just lost. last week. I mean, right now the Giants are 3-6. The Eagles are 3-6. The Cowboys are 6-2. I mean, the Giants should be 5-4. There should be a game behind, or they should be, game and a half behind, or whatever it is. But if they can get on a little run here, man, if they can find a way to get a couple more wins here, I mean, what is their schedule? Let's see. Giants right now. I mean, they lost to the Broncos. They lost to the Washington football team. They lost the Falcons, man. Those two games, the
Falcons won.
The Washington football team and the Falcons.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, those two games were huge, but the Giants
should have beat
down
the Chiefs.
Stretch after next week.
I mean, well, listen, they play the Buccaneers.
They're at the Buccaneers, so that's a loss. Eagles come to MetLife.
That could be a win. They got the Dolphins.
Giants go into the Miami. They can win that one. Giants have to go to SoFi to play the Chargers. That's a Chargers game. Cowboys come to town. It depends on what Cowboys team shows up, but December. The Cowboys in December. We'll see. Giants have to go to Philly for Christmas weekend. Giants going in to play in Chicago, play the Fields, and then Washington comes to town for the season finale on January.
Listen, they still got a shot to win 8 games.
So you got loss, win, loss, 2-2. Cowboys is.
They might win that because they always win that home game.
Yeah, 3-2.
Eagles, Bears, and man, they could have 9-8 or 8-9.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, 9-8 or 8-9, possibility.
It is a possibility. So let's see. And if they won those other 2 games, they could have definitely been in the talks for a division. But now they're like 3 games out, so ship has pretty much sailed unless the Cowboys have a horrendous second half. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
Should we work on some of the line? Oh, well, we did over our little break and hiatus.
Yeah.
We went out to Madison Square Garden, not once,
but twice. We went twice, so thank you. Thank your aunt again for that.
Yes, thank you to my aunt for providing us with some very nice tickets.
Yes.
Much appreciated. So thank you very much. We went to the New York Knicks home opener against the Boston Celtics. Ended in a double overtime, suspenseful, double overtime ending. Surrounded by, a nice little batch of Knicks fans and Celtics fans. So there was a lot of passion in our section and throughout the entire arena. The arena was popping, and I don't think anyone left.
No, nobody
left until the end, and it was exhilarating. It was suspenseful. Granted, the Knicks let them get to overtime in the first place because they couldn't hit a shot for the last 3 minutes of the game. It felt like. Yeah. But needless to say, they did end up coming out victorious. And we also went and saw the Rangers, but they didn't have the same outcome.
No, but it was great experience. Getting to the Knicks fan, I mean, that was just pure passion in that building that night. The Celtics fans who were, what's the nicest word I could use? Happy to be there. Because by the fourth quarter, they were super happy. And then once they tied it, they were extremely happy, letting us know what was going on. And then at the end of the double overtime, the same guy didn't say much, but his friend was falling all over people.
Yeah,
his friend was falling all over people. It wasn't good for his friend, but it was a good time. And listen, the Knicks are right now, what are they, 6-4? They've lost a couple of games that they shouldn't have lost. You got to worry about the perimeter defense. Here's the concern I have with the Knicks. When Julius is in there, yes, Julius has some moments, but it seems like the ball stops when he's in there. And he doesn't look RJ's way. And you got to start giving RJ Barrett the keys to the offense, man. I mean, the kid had 5 games in a row with 20 points. The other night he sat for a long period in the fourth quarter. I don't know what Tibbs was thinking. You got to play Obi a little bit more. You got to give this kid Quentin Grimes, who is the 8th overall pick. Got to give him some more minutes, man. The kid can flat out shoot. Looks like he can ball. Quigley kind of goes ice cold sometimes, so you gotta play him. So I just think for the Knicks, man, their concern is on the defensive side of the ball. When Randall seems like he's not engaged, it's just not good for the Knicks right now. That's not good for the Knicks right now. They should be about 8-2, but yeah, that was fun. Then we went to the Ranger game. What they lose 5-2 or something like that.
I think the final was actually like 6-2. I think
6-2. Yeah, it was the first hockey game I've ever been to. I think Mike, that was your first, right?
It was my first live hockey game. Yeah,
it's pretty cool going to a game than seeing it on TV. It's very different. The fans are passionate, and like you watch that puck all over the place, man. It was great, and it was a good time. It was just a lot of fun. I mean, the best part about going to the Knicks game was after the game where they beat Boston. People were just losing their minds in the street. Fuck Trae Young chants. Let's go Knicks chants. I mean, it was just great. It was just a wonderful time. So. If you can afford it, go out to one of these games. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, well, without a doubt. And I mean, it was my first Knicks game in 25, 26 years.
Yeah.
So it was, it was a great time, and obviously, going in that arena is, it's an experience in itself, and really what the fan experience is all about. And you know what? Kudos to the Celtics fans that were in our area. It was not too obnoxious on the.
No, it wasn't bad.
It was nice.
Yeah,
it wasn't obnoxious. There was no animosity, no fights. It was just them being passionate about the team and passionate about what was going on, and it was all laughs. Everyone was having fun.
Yeah,
they'd trash talk. To the Knicks fans, and the Knicks fans would, banter right back, and be like, "Oh, tuck your hood in," because it was green, and and it was a fun time, and glad to see that everyone could get along and just have fun, while also being on the opposite sides of the coin there.
Yeah, and you know what I discovered over there is that there's a Celtic bar right on 33rd between and 7th. And I walk in there to have a beer, like while I was waiting for you. And it was a lot of Knicks fans and, and union guys and construction workers. And all of a sudden there's all these Celtics fans in there. Guy walks up to me. He's like, Knicks, come on, man. And I'm like, I thought I was in New York. And it was a Celtic bar, man. I was like, all right. So, but it's great. That, around there, that place is it's great all around when it's jumping, right? There's some construction going on there right now, obviously. But, when the city gets back to life.
When is there not?
No, right.
Let's be real.
But I'm looking forward to when the city gets back to life, things start calming down again. And the city is back to life. I mean, people are out and about. I mean, I walked around Midtown. It's tons of people all over the place. And it's getting back to life. And I can't wait this spring when the Knicks make it back to the playoffs. It's going to be crazy out there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, and kudos to kudos. Memo to MSG. Can we get the new Knick uniform out there, please? I'm trying to buy it. I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I wasn't in the team store.
No, we went to the team store. Wasn't there?
Wasn't in the team store. So yeah, you gotta get those out. Those are sweet, and obviously they're gonna you're gonna have a lot of customers scooping those things up. So
and kudos, by the way, the food there is amazing at the Garden, man.
Oh,
that food is delicious. Great. You had a pastrami sandwich. What'd you have there?
I had it was a sliced steak sandwich.
Yeah, that thing.
A prime rib sandwich.
Yeah, that thing.
Onions and mushrooms and the frizzled onions too, and I mean that was like at the prime rib place or something like that. It was called the prime rib something. On that first level there on in the 100 section, but I'm sure it's everywhere in that stadium, in that arena. And then when we went to the Knicks game, I had that cheeseburger on like the English muffin. That was pretty.
That was pretty good. Yeah,
that was pretty good too. But great food, great time. And if you can make it out to MSG for a game, whether it be Knicks, Rangers, whatever.
Go,
so
yeah.
I definitely want to go to the UBS arena though, and see an Islanders game this year as well.
Oh, the new arena.
Yeah.
We'll check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. One of these days.
I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm thinking about? I mean, I'm all into football in this weather, but I'm honestly thinking about a day in the middle of July, going to Citi Field, getting a hot dog walker, and just watching the game. I was thinking about that this afternoon. I'm like, that's what I miss.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Getting darker early.
Yeah.
It's got its drawbacks.
Yeah, to say the least.
Let's just say that this first week for sure is, there's an adjustment period, and then you just got to realize, well, this is what it's going to be like for the next few months. So just suck it up because there's nothing you can do about it. Minus maybe like moving to Hawaii when we don't have daylight savings.
Yeah.
buy yourself a couple of hours or so, and stay on Hawaii beach. Shall we attack some lines?
Yeah, let's attack some lines. Let's do it.
Attack some lines. Alrighty. So we have Thursday night football for NFL Week 10. Unbelievable. The Baltimore Ravens are heading into Miami. The Ravens are favored by 7.5 points. I mean, the Ravens, great comeback this week. Mm-hmm. The Dolphins really, had to put out everything to just eke out a one-score win against the Texans. So I think that the Ravens are going to cover this 7.5 comfortably.
I don't know, man. Funny things happen when teams go down there to Miami, especially on a short week.
I know, and the Dolphins, have been showing up on defense a little bit as well.
I'm going to take the Dolphins plus 7.5.
Okay. I mean, hey.
Funny things happen down there, man.
That's what it's there for. Wait. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Jaguars go to Indy. The Indianapolis Colts are favored by 10.5. Jaguars fresh off of
you know what? The Jaguars are going in with a lot of confidence, man.
The Jaguars are going to go in with a lot of confidence, that's for sure. But the Colts, also have a lot of confidence on their end as well.
Give me the Jaguars plus 10.5. That Vegas is begging.
It's a lot of points, and I will go with you on that. But I think the Colts are going to win it comfortably, but not not
10.5
by 11 points comfortably. Oh, they can, but I'm going to take the points that Vegas is giving me, though.
Yeah.
Patriots, Browns. Patriots in Foxborough, favored by 1.5. And you just said 1-4 in Foxborough. So the Cleveland Browns, new look Cleveland Browns, no OBJ. They took away some luggage, some baggage.
Yeah.
And some weight off of their shoulder. OBJ and his kicking net fiance are no longer on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I will go with the Browns. I mean, they were just dominant against the Bengals this past week. Their defense is looking hot. And like you said, the Patriots can't get out of their own way at home. So go with the numbers. Go with the data.
I'm going to take the Patriots minus 1.5. I think this is about pride at this point.
Such a human.
Yeah, pride at this point. I think they don't. I don't know. They've been 1-4 at home, but I just think that. I mean, if the Browns beat up Mac Jones, then yes, but
the Browns are the dog, like. I feel like it was like minus 3.5 for the Browns in Foxborough. It's a whole different ball game. Like you're giving them a dog, and the Patriots haven't. And the Browns are playing hot. I don't know. I mean, it's just a lot of factors going against the Patriots. And Damian Harris is hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Ramondre Stevenson played. He looked good, man.
Yeah. No, granted, but I don't know.
Good.
I think I like the Browns. I like the Browns in that one.
Give me the Patriots minus 1.5.
Okay, next one. Falcons at Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 9. That is a lot of points for a team that just got their ass beat by the Broncos.
I'm with you on that, man.
So I'm taking the Falcons plus 9 because, no Calvin Ridley, but Kyle Pitts is coming into his own. You know, Cordero Patterson is just on fire.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan is playing great. I mean, you know, he's putting up nice numbers, yardage, touchdowns. Yeah, and Teddy Bridgewater just, you know, dissected that Cowboys defense in Dallas. So, and Atlanta might be riding high. You know, they got the momentum on their side too,
and they've won some games. You know, so I'm with you. Atlanta plus
9 points is a lot.
It's a lot.
9 points is a lot.
Vegas is asking you to pick Dallas.
I don't know, man. The Buffalo Bills, they were by 13.5 coming into MetLife Stadium after just scoring 6 points. I'm sorry, that's way too many points. I'm taking the Jets at 13.5. They might very well even win this game.
Wow. Okay, Mike White will start, so we know they're going to put up some points, I think. But the question is, do the Bills' defense, as good as they are, all of a sudden adapt to start making adjustments towards Mike White and that Jet offense? I'm with you. 13.5 is a lot of points, man. I just can't see the Jets getting blown out at home again unless that defense completely collapses. So 13.5, I'm with you on that.
Ooh, plus 530 on the money line. Ooh.
Okay.
Nah, they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna win it, but
yeah.
But the Falcons I would put on the money line. I think the Falcons could win that game.
Yeah.
The New Orleans Saints are heading to Tennessee. Again, no Derrick Henry. The Saints are going to start, I guess, presumably Trevor Siemian, or they might make the switch to Taysom Hill after losing last week. Alvin Kamara is banged up, though. So that hurts the Saints. The Saints are dogs by 3 points. Tennessee is favored at home by 3. I mean, right now the Tennessee Titans, you know, Derrick Henry or not, you know, they're just looking like a strong team. So and their defense is coming together, and the Saints, you know, can't seem to find the right, the right momentum or whatever you want to call it. They don't have a passing game. They don't have receivers. Michael Thomas is out, you know, for indefinitely. So Tennessee.
I'm with you on that. They just came off a nice win. And yeah, I'm with you. Tennessee -3. Plus that, I mean, again, the quarterback situation is the one you got to worry about with the Saints. It's hit or miss every week. I'm riding the Titans -3. Next one.
Yeah. Tampa Bay back to Washington. The wild card matchup rematch. Tom Brady versus Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
9.5 points. Brady's favored in Washington.
Yeah, give me the Buccaneers -9.5. I think they come off a bye. They're going to go refreshed. They're going to come out to annihilate this team.
Yeah, I agree. Tampa Bay 9.5. The Detroit Lions head to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is favored by 8.5 points.
You know, Vegas is asking you to take the Steelers because Pittsburgh's 0-7, 0-8. I think they're due for a win.
Mean the Lions are?
The Lions. I'm sorry. I think they're due for a win. I'm going to take Steelers plus 8.5 in the upset.
You're gonna.
I'm sorry. I'm taking the Lions plus 8.5 in the upset.
I don't know about an upset, but I'll take the 8.5.
Okay.
I'll take the Lions at plus 8.5, but I don't know about all that. Minnesota Vikings at the Los Angeles Chargers. Vikings giving up, big lead to the Ravens this past week.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going into SoFi. Chargers, big win over there in Philadelphia, but they had to use all, the entire game to do it.
I have
2.5 points. It's practically a pick 'em. And honestly, I hate the Chargers when they're a favorite.
I'm taking the Chargers. I have no faith in Kirk Cousins.
When they're a favorite, but if it's only 2.5, I will take it.
I have no faith in Kirk Cousins. I'm taking the Chargers -2.5.
Carolina Panthers, Sam Darnold at the most likely Kyler Murray-less Cardinals.
Sam's not playing. He's got a fractured
So it's PJ Walker. Okay, so the Panthers might have a shot. No, they still don't. I mean, it's 10 points, but no, I'm going with the Cardinals on this one.
I'm with you on that, 100%.
Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson presumably coming back. All signs point to a go. The Green Bay Packers may not have Aaron Rodgers. That's still to be decided, but I don't know what Vegas is basing these on, but it's -3.5 Packers. It's pretty much the default, the default spread.
I think Vegas is thinking he's going to play Sunday. He said there might be.
I think they think that he's going to play Sunday.
Yeah.
Is he going to? Are the Seahawks or the Packers going to have Odell Beckham on their team?
That's going to be fascinating. Yeah.
That's something that we have to watch for, and let's see what happens there. But if Rodgers plays, if Rodgers plays, I'll take the Packers at the -3.5, just because their defense is better than the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. But if Rodgers doesn't play, obviously I would have to go with the Seahawks. So as of right now, Rodgers is an iffy start. So if I'm picking right now and I have to lock it in, I'm going with the Seahawks +3.5.
I'm with you on that. Russell Wilson's coming back. He might be a bit rusty, but he's still Russell Wilson. I'm with you. Seahawks +3.5.
Yep. Eagles at the Broncos. Broncos favored by 3.
Yeah, I like the Broncos in this game, coming off a big win last week over the Cowboys. Confidence, teams moving. Give me the Broncos.
Agreed. Broncos. Kansas City Chiefs at the Raiders. Chiefs are favored away. 2.5 points though. So.
Man, the way the Chiefs looked last week, I'm taking the Raiders +2.5. The Chiefs they got to prove it, man, because they look like shit right now.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson just signed with the Raiders too, so maybe some more firepower in that receiving game. So I'll go with the Raiders. And Derek Carr just seems to show up when he plays.
Yeah, man, he balls out.
Puts up like 450 yards every time he plays the Chiefs.
He balls out.
Yeah, he does. Rams go into San Francisco Monday night. The Rams are favored by 3.5. I mean, the Rams have this is a prime bounce back spot for the Rams here.
And Von Miller going to play?
Von Miller is presumably going to play.
Give me the Rams. They might kill Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I mean, Von Miller or not, I think. I don't know. The 49ers don't really impress me. Anyway, but 3.5 points. I'm taking the Rams for sure. All right. Wow, they even have early lines out for Week 11 on FanDuel Sportsbook. My goodness.
Listen.
Wow.
That's a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen.
The Jets Dolphins is only 2.5 points spread on that week.
Yeah, well, we'll see. All right. Well, I guess that wraps it up.
Yeah, I think we covered everything. Let's see. Let's just do a quick little OBJ search here. Let's see if there's been any breaking news.
No, I've been checking my Bleacher Reports. I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, nothing yet. So, all right. Well, we'll see. I'm sure something within the next few days is going to pop up. Actually, the Browns. What did we pick for the Browns here? Because I just forgot.
Browns and who they're playing?
The Browns and the Patriots. I picked the Browns.
I took the Patriots.
Yeah. There's no Nick Chubb. There's no Johnson.
Yeah.
There's no Joe Kelly. Like their whole running back room practically has COVID. So that changes things. So I think if they don't play, I have to go with the Patriots just because that's their entire team is their running game. So I might have to change that one. I'll go with the Patriots on it if they're not going to play. So all right, yep, that wraps it up. And we'll be back. Enjoy Week 10. Unbelievable that we're saying it's Week 10.
All right, everybody.
Week
Peace.
10 already. All right. Have a good one.
Peace.